And on today's episode of the Riderflex Podcast, I want to chat about how you can get rejected immediately if I'm looking at your profile or dealing with you as a candidate. What's a super fast way to get immediately rejected? I'm assuming you're not trying to get rejected, but I want to just share with you how I reject people super quick. Okay. I've done a couple of podcasts on this, but I want to share with you another example of how I can immediately dismiss somebody that's trying to get a job or that's in process with us or that has applied or whatever. Here we go. There's a bunch of reasons, by the way, you can get rejected. Obviously, if you're not qualified or you don't have the experience, but let's set those aside. This is not about qualifications. This is not about experience. I want to talk about some other things on how you can get rejected quickly. Number one, if you're late, if you are late to the interview, you're not going to get the job. I'm talking about phone calls, video conference, etc. If I have a phone call scheduled with you and you call me at 5 minutes after, chances of you getting the job are, I don't know, 1%. I don't care what the excuse is. I really don't care. Okay. Unless meteors hit the earth, if you're late when you're supposed to call me or be on a video interview, you're not going to get the job. That's number one. Number two, if you can't figure out technology, right? Like if you got some excuse like, oh, my calendar didn't update, or I couldn't figure out Zoom, or I couldn't figure out how to dial into the conference call. Any technology stuff, I'm dismissing you right away. Like, come on, man, you got to get it together, right? I don't want any of those excuses, right? Any of the technology excuses. If I see those right away, we're not putting you through. Next, attitude, right? Attitude. Now, this specifically speaks to maybe older level candidates that are super cocky, or maybe they used to be an executive and now they're having to interview for like a director level job, and they kind of got this chip on their shoulder, like, they're too good to be interviewing for the job, or they just kind of have an attitude about them, right? Like an air about them. Or this could also apply to people that, just maybe let's say they're an Ivy League graduate. By the way, not all Ivy League graduates have attitudes. So please don't send me a bunch of hate mail for this tip. Let's say you're an Ivy League graduate and you kind of have this air about you, like, you're better than all the rest of the graduates or something, some sort of just anything with attitude or cockiness or anything, whatever the reason is. If you got a bad attitude, I'm not putting you through. I don't care how qualified you are. I don't care what your accomplishments are. If you're kind of an asshole or you're super cocky or you have an attitude, you're not getting through. I don't care what the rest of your resume says. Next, people skills in general. Just, are you likable? Are you likable? Are you enjoyable? Do you smile? Do you have a good energy about you? Like, am I going to feel proud to put you through as a candidate? And am I going to be worried that my client may not like you, right? Like, just general people skills is so important. So just your presence and whether or not you're a likable person, again, it's so important. Okay. And then a couple more things. If your communication is super slow, like if I email you and I'm trying to get a response and you don't email me for like 5 days, or I call you and I say, hey, Johnny, I need you to call me, and you don't call me for like 48 hours, slow communication of any kind is going to be a red flag for me. And then last but not least is this. If you're lying, by the way, stop lying. Okay. Don't try to pretend like you're somebody you're not. Don't fluff your resume. Don't make up a bunch of crap that's not real. Okay. If I even smell just any slight little thing that you might be lying, I'm not putting you through. Even if I'm not sure whether or not you're lying. If I think you're lying, I'm not putting you through. So don't BS anything. Don't try to create stuff. Don't make it sound bigger than it is. Don't pretend like to be somebody you're not. If you got fired, say you got fired. Okay. If the company closed, whatever it is, just be real, be honest. Let's be authentic. It's so important. And it really just ties back to your character and your morals and what kind of person you are. So don't lie. Okay. If I sense that you're lying, I'm not putting you through. There you go. Those are all the reasons I reject people right there. Again, I don't care how qualified you are. I don't care what your accomplishments are. If you do any of those things I just mentioned, you're not getting through. Okay. There you go. There's your Riderflex tip of the day.